Hello, Facebookers. Brian Terrian here with Bill Price. We're getting started on our YouTube live here today. We're doing a simulcast. We're going to get started in a minute on YouTube. So hang tight.
We are on YouTube, Brian.
Wonderful. Okay. There we go. Greetings, everybody. Brian Terrian, Philip, and Jam here with our YouTube live today, streaming on
Hello,
Facebook
everybody.
and on Facebook and the Phillips Facebook group. Y'all good, Philip?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good, good. Jam just informed us where she's participating from. It's 100 and what? No, we said 107 degrees.
Yes.
Hot stuff. Wow. All right, folks, listen, welcome. Today we're going to cover how age impacts your disability benefits through the approval process. And then once you're approved. So that's the topic that we're going to cover, help you understand as you age, what's going to go on with you. So if you're new here, welcome on these lives and the work that we do here at the Disability Digest. Our focus is to help you get your disability benefits approved fast, hopefully, help you keep them, help you maximize them. And Philip is here because he runs one of the largest, fastest Facebook groups that's out there that helps people with disability-related topics. So his group provides some support and feedback, and we've partnered up because the Disability Digest can actually provide you the technical, like how to do things, what to say and do to get approved, how to maximize your benefits. So we have this blend here. So good to have you with. And Jam is our wonderful moderator who does a great job. So we're going to do some Q&A today. You can put your questions into the chat. I'll also open up the phone lines here in a little while, and we will take some calls. So that's what we have on tap for today. Good. Ready to get started?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for age and disability benefits, some of the common questions that we receive are like, what happens to my benefits when I turn 62? What happens when I turn like full retirement age? Oftentimes we get into conversations with people, helping them get approved, helping them understand like what the difference is for those that are under 50, what they need to prove versus those that are over 50. So I'm going to hit the highlights. We have supporting information on, pretty much each one of these that will give you more granular, but I wanted to hit the big picture. So I'm going to start young on the younger end of the spectrum. If you are under 50 years old and you are not able to work and seeking your disability benefits, what you need to prove to Social Security is that you are not able to do any job in the US economy. And that job would likely be something that you haven't done before. So let's say you've been a nurse, but you need to prove that you're not able to be a ticket taker at a movie theater or a greeter at Walmart. And they've just updated that list of occupations because there were some real zingers in there that were outdated. So the degree of difficulty is higher for somebody from age 18 when you're first eligible for Social Security disability up to when you turn 50 because of what you need to prove. Now, in addition to that, you need to have the other aspects in place, like you have to have treatment, diagnosis, and documented limitations in your medical record. So for those of you that are in that age group under 50, that's what you need to prove to get your benefits. And that's what you need to continue to prove to keep your benefits, because as a younger disability recipient, your frequency of reviews are typically going to be higher. And what a review is a continuing disability review, where Social Security reaches out to you. They want to make sure that you still qualify. They'll check in on your doctors. There's more to it than that brief explanation. But that is the key for that age group. Now, when you reach that beautiful age of 50 and over, depending on your work situation, it could be that you would need to prove that you're not able to do your prior work. Now, here's an example. Let's say somebody was 55 years old and they've been driving a truck over the road, which means they've been driving long distance over the road. They're typically gone overnight. And they've done that for 17 years. That's all they've done, all they've known. And so now they're 55 and they're not able to do it anymore. Well, the premise of that individual's disability case would be to prove that they cannot drive truck. They don't have any transferable skills at that age into other jobs. Unlike the individual that is below 50, they have to prove they can't do any job. So that's one of the big differences, where there's like this dual dynamic where your age and your work history is beneficial in the process of proving. So we're in 50. So there's different increments like 0 or from 50 to 54, 55 to 59, and then 60 and older. There's different levels of what you need to prove that become easier. We'll just keep it in simplistics for that. So the next thing I want to cover is, I'm just referring to my notes here, is age 62. If you're 62 or 61 and a half and you're looking at, you know what, maybe I should just collect my early Social Security and then Social Security disability, I'll just, forget about that. You can, but at that age, if you were to take your age 62 and then decide that you wanted to apply for Social Security disability, you could do that. And the reason why you would do that, there's two main reasons. Is your disability check is typically about 40% more than your early retirement check. So that's one key thing. And the other thing is Medicare. As a disability recipient, any disability recipient, you're treated just like a Social Security recipient that ages into Social Security, that you are Medicare eligible. Folks, I'm getting a notification that my battery is low. I think I just fixed it. Okay. It's always good when you're doing something and you get thrown a zinger, right? So the Medicare piece and age 62, that's the next thing. And then the other last point that I want to make is that when you reach your full retirement age, which I believe for like me is 67 and a half, but when you reach your full retirement age as a disability recipient, then your check is going to stay the same, with the exception of the cost of living increase that you receive annually. It's just changes from a disability recipient to somebody that's on full retirement. Now, there's one other big difference here for what happens as a result of your age, is that when you reach full retirement age, you're no longer a disability recipient, so you're no longer subject to those continuing disability reviews that absolutely petrify people. And you're no longer subject to the earnings limitation. You can earn just like a regular Social Security recipient, not a Social Security disability recipient. So just to recap, we talked about the 18 to 49 bracket, what you need to prove. When you're in your 50 to 54, 54 to 59, and then 60 on, it's depending on your career and the transferable skills and your work history. And then we talked about age 62 and the difference of that versus your Social Security disability amount. And then full retirement. So that's how age, from my perspective, from what I can refer to my notes, impacts your disability benefits. And if there's any other age-related questions, of course, put them in chat, or Philip, Jam, if I may have missed something, give me a shout. So yeah, so we're going to get on with the show. There's 172 of you out there on YouTube. Welcome. And we're going to get on to like a Q&A where we can answer your questions. I'm going to open up the phone lines here after we take a few questions, maybe 2 questions. I'll open up the phone lines so you can actually call in. I'll put the number up on the screen here in a moment. But let's take a couple questions first from the group. Philip, you said you had some that you wanted to get addressed. Let's do it.
Okay. First one. I'm currently out on short-term disability. Do I need to wait until STD goes out to file LTD to apply? And should I file online or just talk with an attorney right off the bat?
So is this a question about filing for long-term disability, Philip, or is that a question about filing for Social Security disability? That wasn't clear to me.
They're wanting to know if they should wait to file for LTD until the short term runs out. Well, I would think they would have to wait till it runs out. And then,
yeah, I'm not an expert in that area, but I agree with you because you have short term that goes for typically 3 months, and then your long term.
Yeah. And then they're wanting to know if they should go ahead and call an attorney right now or wait.
Well, my position on using an attorney for your short-term or long-term disability, it's really a personal preference. If you're interested in speaking with somebody, we actually have worked with a group that will, like, they'll generously speak to Disability Digest members and just give them, some general advice. Of course, if you get denied, they would like for you to think of them so they can help you get it back. So, I mean, that's a personal preference. It's the same with Social Security disability. There's people that comment and say, oh man, you got to have an attorney right off the bat. And here at the Disability Digest, I mean, we get success stories every day that people use our course and do it on their own. So,
yeah. All right, next one. Can they deem you not disabled if you drive yourself to the doctor or to the grocery store?
That's a good question. So can they say that you're not disabled because you drive to the doctor or the grocery store?
Correct.
So let's address that this way. For somebody to prove that they are disabled, they need to prove that they cannot do a job 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, right? So the question I would ask you to think about is when you drive to the doctor's, I don't know how far it is, but my hunch is it's not very far. It's not like work. It's not something that you've demonstrated that you can do 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. Right. So that's the difference. Activity, in my opinion, is actually, I encourage activity. I mean, of course, if you can work, great, but that's how you really need to approach it and think about it.
Okay. All right, here's one you're gonna have to put your thinking hat on for.
Where is it? I'm gonna go find it. Hit me. Try it out now.
Says I was denied for SSDI. Reason I was short 9 hours. How many weeks, years, months is 9 quarters? I'm 100% with the VA. Already know that does not matter to Social Security. I mentioned the VA because before retiring from the federal government, I bought my military time back 10K in full. I guess my question is, how could I be short and what do I do?
I don't know why you're short. There is, if you're a member here at the Disability Digest, we have a short tutorial that will show you how your check is calculated. So you can go in and look at like if there's zeros in your earning record and there shouldn't be. I mean, that's one of the first places I would look. And you can also log on to your My SSA account and see your earnings history. So make sure your earnings are correct and that they are indeed accurate when they say that you're missing 9 quarters. Okay. Okay, so yes. Did you have
Yeah, I
something
would
to
like
add,
to,
Jim?
yeah, add something on that. For work credits, how you can earn, for 2024, you receive 1 credit for each $1,730 worth of earnings, and you can get up to a maximum of 4 credits per year.
Mm-hmm. That's great information. That's what I was searching for. I last I checked, it was like 1,560. So let's go through an example. You can earn 1 credit per quarter, and you have to earn $1,730 within 3 months to earn a quarter. So that's 2 years and 1 quarter. So that's like, I don't know how to explain that. It's 9 quarters, right? So you need to earn, if you got a part-time gig and could find a way to earn, it's like $700 a month, $600 a month, and do that for 2+ years, then you would restore your credits. In my opinion, you have to really take a look at, the value of your benefits, like how old are you? You can get this in addition to your VA. So, I mean, if your check is going to be $2,500, $2,500, so $30,000 a year, and you've got to work for 9 quarters to get $30,000 a year for the rest of, your life. Is that worth it for you? Yeah. That's, the thing is, can you work? Can you actually do that amount of work? And you have to pay your taxes on it. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. All right. I'm going to open up the phone lines here for some calls, and we'll kind of bounce back and forth here. So I'm going to put the number up on the screen. You're welcome to call in with your question. And the number is 844-717-2454. I'm going to open the phone lines right now. So you can call in with a question or a success story. So 2-3 minutes. We'd be glad to see what we can do to help you out. So while we're waiting for the phone to ring, you have any other questions queued up?
Well, on my end, you pretty much covered the preloaded questions from the viewers, but here's one. I'm 53 and have been on disability for 15 months after 3 strokes and 2 heart attacks and loss of vision completely in left eye and 30% loss in right eye. How will my disability be affected?
All right. So 53 on Social Security, right? Disability,
For a
right?
year and yeah,
For
3
1
months.
year.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to get my head around the question. Is it that the conditions, is he wondering if the conditions are going to influence
Yeah, the
benefits?
continuing, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I would look at it this with the limited amount of information that you provided. If you can't work, and this is what you've been able to prove to get on your benefits, then maintaining your benefits is going to be you going to the doctors on a consistent basis to make sure that those are treated, all of those conditions. So that when you do have a review, which at 53, you'll likely have two at least, I expect. So that when you get your review, they can see that you are being treated, there's still limitations, and you are not able to work. There's more detailed information about what to do when you go to the doctors, like how to journal and how to communicate your limitations into your medical records. So I just stay tuned for that or join other events, but that information would be helpful. I do want to say this. I mean, the journaling and the communication of the limitations, I'm actually in the process of doing it. I've been working and helping and taking care of my mom, and we have some real communication challenges with the doctor, who is super passive and doesn't want to take a lot of action. So we have to do what many of you are taught to do, which is to get the limitations into the medical records. So we collectively journal, meaning my siblings, and we have a list, and we're going to bring it into the doctor, make sure it gets into the medical records, and then check the portal within ideally 48 hours, which is when they usually put it in there. So it's not just for disability recipients. I mean, I actually am put into practice to do this on my own, what we've been talking about for years. But I do know it does work. I mean, the doctor does take the information, puts it in there, doesn't ask many questions. Sometimes it's just scanned into the file. So a little off track, but I thought that would be of value. Good. So if anybody would like to call in with a question or success story, the number is 844-717-2454. Okay. What's next? Anything else?
Yeah.
Go Phil.
All right, we got one here from anonymous member. Says, under the final rule beginning June 22nd, 2024, when determining past relevant work, the agency will review only 5 years of past work. The previous policy required people to provide detailed information about 15 years of work history, which is different for individuals to remember, or difficult for individuals to remember, and often lead to incomplete or inaccurate reporting. Also, the agency will no longer consider past work. This is just
that is true, but I just want to like riff on that a little bit, how it's going to affect people. I am concerned because we are getting a massive storm. So I may have to shut this down pretty quick. My office and my presentation area is right in front of a window with a lot of electronics. So if I say I got to go quick, I'm unfortunately I'm going to have to go. But I do want to stay on this for a minute, because this is helpful to people. So when anybody applies for disability, the Social Security has had a requirement of 15 years of work history. So that is like, and it's changed. So we still collect 15, but we'll be soon down to 5. And one of the benefits is it's a lot easier to submit your application for disability, because that took a lot of time. Most people can remember their doctors and their medications they're going to, but it's more difficult to remember what you did for work 10 years ago. I mean, for me, it's easy because I've been doing this for 17 years, but for others that have not had that situation. So that is certainly going to be helpful. And it's the same. What they're also looking at, as I mentioned, if you've had a stable work history, instead of a 15-year time frame, it's now a 5-year time frame. Folks, I'm concerned. I'm going to have to stop the show because of where I'm at. So unfortunately, that's the weather situation. But listen, we are here every week. I I can say rain or shine, but lightning storms do cause problems with the show. And we'll be back next week. We encourage you to come by, join us for our event, and subscribe, tune into the channel. But for safety reasons, I'm going to have to shut things down now. Philip, Jam, appreciate you coming out today. We'll be back next week. Make it a great day, everybody. Stay safe.
Safe.
Thank you. Stay safe, Brian.
All right.